Inner Child 4. Hello everyone, welcome to the fourth lesson on the inner child. Today, we will discuss the second step in transforming the inner child. In the last lesson, we talked about the first step, naming the emotions. This lesson step is very important, taking responsibility. What does it mean to take responsibility? In this world, there are only three kinds of matters: my matters, others matters, and heaven's matters. The pain in life often arises from neglecting our own matters while trying to handle others' matters or even heaven's matters, bearing the responsibilities of others or the heavens. Becoming a savior, like a mother hen constantly helping others, will ultimately leave you feeling utterly exhausted. When dealing with the inner child, after naming the emotions, we might feel guilt and sadness, which can become overwhelming. This is especially true when we face the wrongs we have committed, particularly when we have hurt others, such as lying, hitting, deceiving, or betraying. If you have done these things, some people may fall into deep guilt, self-blame, and sadness when dealing with their inner child, feeling more and more pain as they proceed. Therefore, it is crucial to clearly distinguish responsibility. The outcome of any interaction between two people is never created by just one person. There is a saying in English, "It takes two to tango," meaning that one hand cannot clap alone. Events are co-created by both parties. Thus, we must differentiate responsibilities. Even in situations like arguments, fights, divorces, or betrayals, the other party has their responsibility, and I have mine. Some responsibilities may not even belong to either of us but may be influenced by the environment or broader circumstances. So, it is essential to distinguish between my matters, others' matters, and heaven's matters, rather than taking on all the responsibilities. Conversely, even if someone has hurt me, it is worth asking myself if I also have some responsibility to bear. Taking responsibility means taking responsibility for what I should bear. You might say, I was only 3 years old at the time, bullied, hurt, beaten, or even worse, violated. What responsibility could I have? A 3-year-old boy or girl certainly does not need to take responsibility for being hurt by their parents or strangers. But if you are now 30, 40, or even 50 years old and still living in that pain and guilt, then I must ask you, at this moment, who is responsible for the feelings of hurt you have carried for these 30+ years? Who keeps telling themselves, I am miserable, I am unloved? Who keeps telling others, I had such a terrible childhood? Who keeps replaying this victim story every day? Who is the sole director of this victim story? The answer, of course, is you. Besides yourself, who else is the director of this story? Therefore, taking responsibility does not mean bearing the weight of the world but taking responsibility for your own emotions and life. At the time, you may have been only 2 or 3 years old and abandoned, which was not your responsibility. But it is worth taking responsibility for the decades you have lived in that pain, unconsciously using that victim identity to tell yourself how miserable you are and refusing to take responsibility. Sometimes, when arguing with a partner or friend, you might say, do you know how miserable I was as a child? You are so lucky. Turning your pain into a weapon to seek recognition or even making it part of your self-identity. The ego is a very mysterious, complex, and sometimes cunning thing. The ego can stand on any ground, not necessarily greed, fear, selfishness, or lust. To exaggerate, your spiritual practice can be an ego. To exaggerate further, becoming a priest, pastor, or even a monk can be an ego. If you use these things to escape your responsibilities, to evade your pain, to take a moral high ground, even if you outwardly do compassionate things like distributing food or helping others, it can still be an ego. So we must be careful. When we say we are hurt, are we using our feelings to justify some irresponsible behavior? Here, I want to take this opportunity to share a very important concept. I really like the term congruent proposed by Virginia Satir, the founder of family therapy. Her perspective is unique. Congruence is not just about being true to your feelings but also about not being dominated by them. Virginia Satir believes that true congruence is a win-win-win, I win, you win, and the environment or team also wins. Feelings are not absolute. Respect your feelings, but do not amplify or get entangled in them. Taking responsibility is crucial, otherwise, merely talking about feelings can lead to extremes, either overindulging in your emotions or turning them into a tool for manipulation or accusation. Thus, the first step is to name the emotions, and the second step is to take responsibility. Emotions are not the destination, they are just a starting point, an entry point that connects us to our inner needs. Beneath emotions lies the reality of life. Underneath our emotions are many expectations, beliefs, positions, values, and identities. Connecting with emotions aims to help us become the best version of ourselves and take full responsibility for our lives. So, the second step is to take responsibility. Even if the other party has a bad attitude or is at fault, I might also have my responsibility. Let me try to use the example of stealing from the last lesson to demonstrate. First, relax, sit upright, close your eyes, place your hands on your chest, take a deep breath, and feel grounded, like a deeply rooted tree. Then feel the blessings of universal love, an infinite light and love filling your inner child. Recall an incident from your childhood, perhaps stealing or something else you want to address. Then distance yourself from the event, making it small and powerless to hurt you. Focus on the present moment, letting go of external people and things. Next, name the emotions. I acknowledge that I was hurt and scared at that time. Speak out all the emotions, then let yourself be still, take a deep breath, and continue distancing the event, focusing on the present moment, and speaking out the responsibility you bear. Yes, at that time, you might have scolded or deceived me, but I also had my selfishness, my cunningness. I acknowledge that I also had my responsibility. Remember, when speaking, do not say, I am selfish, but rather, I have selfish parts. This wording is very important because otherwise, you will be defined by selfishness. Finally, be grateful for this experience. Thank it for giving you more empathy, for teaching you not to hurt others again, and for helping you understand how to take responsibility for yourself.